Welcome to the Home Inspector Marketing Podcast. Because you're a home inspector looking to increase your sales, improve your cash flow, and boost your bottom line, you are in the right place. For additional training resources on how you can grow your home inspection business, go to microreturns.com right now. And now, here's the podcast.
Hi, this is Mike Crow, and I run a home inspection business. In fact, I've run a couple of home inspection businesses. The true joy for me, though, has been helping literally thousands of home inspectors build really solid home inspection businesses as well. We can help a single-man operation be able to do over $300,000 a year, maybe all the way up to $400,000 a year as a single inspector operation. Even better for me is the 80-plus companies that we have helped be able to build million-dollar home inspection businesses. I would like to help you be able to do the same thing. Hey guys, this is Mike Crow, father of home inspector marketing. You know, I've been at this business now almost 40 years, and I have to tell you, I am just having so much fun watching people grow their business. And I get to talk to people like every week that some of them are coming brand new into the business. Some of them have been in the business 10 years, 20 years. Every now and then I still run into somebody that's in the business as long as I have been. Now, I haven't personally done an inspection in 20 years. I do go out sometimes and say hi to people, and so it's a lot of fun. And people ask me, Mike, you know, how did you do this? Why did you do this? And I kind of talked about that in another episode of, you know, why plus how equals wow. And then I will tell you that there's an important piece here that you need to consider. In fact, I've got a small test for you. I hope you have pen and paper, and if you don't, then maybe you can, it's simple questions, and the score will be 1 to 5. The score will be 1 to 5. I have discovered that there are 5 things to making sure whether you're truly successful or not, or will be successful or not. Number 1, you got to have a burning desire. If you don't really want to be successful, well, I'll give that a try and see how it works. You know, well, you might get lucky, it might work, and maybe you'll be successful. But truly, the truly successful people, they have a burning desire. They have a burning desire. Nobody is going to talk them out of this. Nobody is going to make that so that they don't get up in the morning. Nobody is going to stop them from showing up, all right? And that burning desire is incredibly important. So the first question, and, you know, rate yourself on 1 to 5. Do you have a burning desire? Now, here's the good news for you. Maybe you rated yourself a 2 or a 3 or maybe a 4, hopefully a 5. If you're listening to this podcast right now, if you're listening to this audio right now, I'd give yourself a 5. Do you know how many people will go to the level to seek out this kind of information and work their way through this kind of information? Trust me, buddy, if you're listening to this, okay, then I would rate you as having a burning desire very high. So congratulations on that one, all right? And, you know, one of the things is when you have a burning desire, you're willing to get more done each day than the average person. Number 2, here's your second question. Do you have specialized knowledge? And right away you may be going, oh yeah, I got a lot of knowledge. All right, so let me rephrase this slightly. Do you have specialized marketing knowledge? Yes, I'm known as a master inspector. Yes, I'm known as the father of home inspector marketing. And I will tell you, it is one of the reasons that we are so successful. We also started from different books. I have mentioned in the past the E-Myth Revisited. In fact, if you haven't listened to the podcast, I went through that book chapter by chapter and explained how the information in that book, the E-Myth Revisited, basically I turned it into home inspector, you know, the home inspector E-Myth version so that you could have that. So you have to have specialized knowledge, and you have to understand that there's a manager, there's a technician, and there's the entrepreneur. Inside the book, of course, it actually talks about marketing and building marketing systems and everything. So how much specialized marketing knowledge do you have? So on a scale of 1 to 5, you know, mark yourself on that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would mark myself a 5. I'm a master marketer, but I've been doing this for over 40 years in marketing. In one way or another. Even when I was back in the grocery business for 13 years, man, I understood the power of marketing. So you want to make sure that if you don't have that specialized knowledge, that you find a way to get it, which is, by the way, the number one thing that we probably help you really land here is that. Number 3, what's the third thing you need to do to be successful? Is you need to be disciplined. God, even as I say that, it's tough, okay? You got to be disciplined. Am I disciplined? You know, here's the weird thing about disciplined people. None of us think we're disciplined enough, okay? We think we could always do better. You know, it's the weird thing. True procrastinators don't think that they're behind. They don't think they're being too slow. They don't think they're putting things off. Successful people, we all think we procrastinate, which is weird, huh? So I'm going to tell you this. If you go around going, oh, man, I really need to get that done, you're probably headed towards success because you understand you're procrastinating, all right? If you go, oh, man, I need to, write a list of stuff that I need to get done. If you go, man, I need to set the alarm to be up at 6 o'clock. Congratulations, you're working on those disciplines. Now, what we want to try to do is make sure that you're doing the right things at the right time. So with your discipline, let's make sure that you're really working on the right things. You could be very disciplined. You could be a great home inspector. You could be an incredible home inspector. But if you have no discipline in that specialized knowledge that we talked about last time, how many times do you visit offices? How often do you visit offices? How many times have you give a presentation? How many times have you asked for a referral? All right. If you don't have those things built into your discipline, well, then you're going to have some success, but probably not the same success as you would like to have. So you got to be disciplined. You got to be disciplined. In fact, I've had people, have complete access to my schedule sometimes. Literally 5 or 6 people have access to my schedule here at my office, and they can add appointments right then, and those appointments are encouraged to help remind me without any fear, okay, of how I might react to those, and we get things done. Oh, well, that's important. We'll put it on the schedule. Okay? Oh, that sounds important. Put it on the schedule. That may be one of the most important things I say to people. In fact, the reason I'm sitting here today, the reason I'm literally sitting here today is because our amazing magic man, as we like to call him, has literally put this on the schedule for me. And he goes, hey, Mike, I'll be here from this time. Can you think you can stop in and record another podcast, record another audio that we can get out to people? And here I am. Because he suggested it. He asked for it, okay? And he puts it on my schedule. And I try to be disciplined to show up. Some days I'm sure he'd like for me to be more disciplined on that. And some days I go, I need to work on that harder, all right? And again, people that are successful often think they're procrastinators. And here's the cool thing is, when you're thinking that, just realize you're probably getting done more than the average person. Just the fact that you're saying it. Because the average person, you know what they like to say? Oh, I got more than enough done today. Oh, I got more than enough done today. Hardly ever does a day finish where I go, man, I got more than enough done today. Now, it has happened on occasion. It is kind of rare for people that are successful. Number 4, on a scale of 1 to 5, how decisive are you? How decisive are you? Okay? You need to have the ability to be able to follow through and finish. You need an accountability team if you want to stay on track, okay? Every famous person has one. So sometimes we give them nice titles, executive assistant, project manager. But when it comes to being decisive, you must become decisive in nature and take action quickly if you want to be successful. We joke around here sometimes how you might walk into some simple restaurant, fast food restaurant, any kind. Okay? Maybe it's McDonald's, okay? Most of you probably haven't been to McDonald's in years. I used to go into McDonald's every day, right? And I walk in, and there's somebody, and the lady behind the counter goes, can I take your order, please? And they're looking at the order, and they're going, I'm not sure what I want. And she looks at them, and I look at them, and they look at the menu, and I'm amazed, It's McDonald's. It's McDonald's, The menu's not that tough, all right? It's got a little more complicated in the last few years, but it ain't that tough, all right? This is not the Cheesecake Factory where their menu is just full of stuff. Here's one of the things that I teach people that I work with all the times. Learn to make decisions quickly. Let me say this again. Learn to make decisions quickly, all right? So we do a couple things even in our mastermind group where we'll say, all right, so here's your choices. Choose one. And the first time they're here, they go, well, it doesn't really matter to me. No. When it doesn't really matter, what you're really saying is, I don't really care whether I'm successful or not. And that's not what you are, right? That's not what you're doing here. You've got to be decisive. Oh, no, I'll take that slot right there. And you can always ask to change your mind. So when I look at a menu, even at the Cheesecake Factory, all right, I might go, oh, you know what? I'm going to get that. And then I'll continue to look to see if there's anything better that comes up that I want. But you will not hear me say, I don't know what I want. I know what I want every single day. Basically, every single minute, I know what I want. Now, am I just relaxing sometimes? Of course I am. Am I just watching some TV shows sometimes? Of course I am. But even then, I know what I want. I want a little time to relax, okay? So how decisive are you? See, people who are wealthy make the decision to be that way. And you probably know people who seem to have difficulty making decisions. I doubt that you would call them successful. I have not met one single person that is incredibly successful that goes, oh, I'm not sure. Okay? And so one story that I love is of a CEO of a car manufacturer. And the company was struggling and they were looking for ways to regain some lost market share. And then when one of the guys looked at what was pretty much an ordinary car and he said, you know, if we turn that car into a convertible, man, I think people would really like it. And after a moment, the CEO said, well, cut the top off the car. Let's drive it around and let's see what people's reactions are. And people loved it. And the convertible was reborn, okay? And honestly, I'm kind of glad they did. I ended up buying one of those at one point. The average person will take much longer to make a decision. Here's one of the things I learned in college that was important. The average CEO will take maybe 3 hours to make a major decision. The general manager will probably take 3 days to make a decision on the same topic. 97% of the time, it's the same decision. And even if the CEO realizes he's wrong by day 1 or day 2, he can change his decision. Whereas the general manager is still 3 days behind him. I'm going to tell you a big secret. People who've stood next to me go, whoa, you don't need to think about that? What's to think about? The answer is yes, okay? The answer is yes. So you've got to learn to be decisive. And so I can make major decisions usually within minutes, okay? I'd like to say 3 minutes, and sometimes it takes a little longer than that, but I make major decisions in that. So are you decisive? And if you're not, here's the good news. That is a learned skill. That is something you can learn to have. That is something you can learn to build into your nature. You do have to have maybe a little training to help go along with that. Number 5. Number 5 is one of the ones near and dear to me. And you need to find a team of people who you can share thoughts with and work with, and that they will help move you forward, not in a negative fashion, but in a positive fashion. You know, I've been around groups of people where you put out an idea and 10 people go, well, here's the reason that won't work, then this and this and this and this. That's not the kind of group of people I'm talking about. You want to be around a group of people and go, all right, well, that's interesting. How do we handle this challenge? Notice the difference there? How do we handle this challenge, okay? How do we handle that challenge, okay? And if it's not done right, it could still turn into a negative fest, and we don't want that to happen. When it's done right, though, by the time you're done, it's amazing. The very first group of people like I got together with this on was over 30 years ago. And I had like 6 inspectors at the time, and most of the people there had less than that, and some had actually more than that. And we sat around the table, and here's what we discovered. 80% of everything that we did was all exactly the same. And then what I discovered was that other 20% was completely different. And that 20% changed everything, the whole part of the 80%, changed everything else. And that's one of the most important parts that you need to make sure that you have in your life. And you need to make sure that it's successful people. See, here's what you're going to find out. People that aren't successful, they may have great ideas, but they don't have any proven track record. They don't have any proven ability to make it happen. And they may not have the experience to know what's right and what's wrong. It sounds good. You ever heard somebody go, ooh, that sounds good? We have this joke in our family going, pepper spray, that sounds delicious, you know? And then somebody goes, oh, I was wrong. I was so wrong, okay? So, I mean, you could hear things that might sound good, but of course you know they're not good. When you're in the middle of something, you could say, hey, you should walk up to every real estate agent you know and say this. Well, it sounds good. Probably not, though, okay? And you've got to know what to say. You've got to know when to say it. You've got to know how to say it. And so we talked about earlier, you know, you got to plant seeds. And you got to, you know, you do it at the right time. And you got to be confident with doing it. And you got to do it right. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So the last one here, number 5, on the scale of 1 to 5. So let's just go back here real quick. So number 1, okay? Number 1. Do you have a burning desire? Well, if you're listening to this and you're still listening to this, that's definitely a 5. Number 2, do you have specialized knowledge? The cool thing is you can get it. Even if, do you have specialized marketing knowledge? Maybe you're at a 2, but we can easily up that to a 3, 4, or 5, okay? Are you disciplined? Probably, because you're still listening, all right? You're still listening. I give you huge kudos for that, all right? So you're at least at a 3, maybe a 4 or a 5, all right? And are you decisive? So here's the thing is, you're going to have opportunity after opportunity. Maybe the opportunity is to come sit in one of my masterminds. Maybe the opportunity is to sit around the group with other people that know what they're doing. Maybe the opportunity is to fly across the country and visit with another successful person. You know, I have people all the time go, oh, well, that sounds like a great idea, but I just don't have the time for that. Or I don't have the money for that. When you have all of these other things in place, you find the money. You find the time, all right? I remember the first time I did some things, I had to borrow money on a credit card. And by the way, I have borrowed money on credit cards and then done something, paid it off, and then gone and done it again. And then paid it off and then gone and done it again. That's a cycle. But it's a cycle of me being decisive and being disciplined and really taking things to the next level. So again, from the beginning, have a burning desire, have specialized marketing knowledge, be disciplined, be decisive, and the last real secret that you got to build to a level 5 is find yourself like a mastermind team. Find yourself someone that you can call on a daily basis, not just one person. 3, 4, 5, 6 people. 4 is really the minimum. 6 would be better. 20 would just be like lightning in a jar. All right? Can you imagine sitting at a table where there's 20 successful people and or companies, and each one of them give you an idea of what it would be like to take your business to the next level? Well, that's like what it's like sitting in a mastermind group. And masterminds is what has helped me grow my business and help me be successful. And it is my number one formula for helping other people do that as well. And so we've gone through this again. Have a burning desire, have specialized knowledge, especially marketing knowledge, have discipline, and allow people to help hold you accountable or to at least ask you, hey, how did that go? All right. And then be decisive in nature. Be ready to take action quickly. All right. So if you think about this, we've had a lot of fun throughout this book. We've talked about a system for answering questions. How's business? I hope you listened to that one. We talked about a system for what to put on your business card. We talked about a system about being referable at the inspection. Thank you for noticing. Okay. We talked about a system for being decisive. So many other things. There's a lot of stuff that you can do to build your business. The number one real secret is being around other people that are successful. And it's one of the reasons you hear me say, be successful and be around others that are successful. It's not a question. It's a matter of statement that will help you be successful. When you hang around other successful people, it's almost impossible not to be successful. You know, in our industry, there are people now, there are well over 100 companies that are $1 million companies. When those people stick together, I mean, boy, it's amazing things. But now in our industry, there are people that are at 5 million. There are people at 10 million, okay? And at some point, there'll probably be somebody at 100 million, all right? Here's the secret. If you want to be at those levels, whatever level that is, okay, then you need to be around people that play at that level. It's really simple. It's really straightforward. Well, this is Mike Crow, father of Home Inspector Marketing. I just want to tell you thank you for being here today, and I want to tell you thank you for being decisive. You know, we're putting a link at the bottom here for you to go see MikeCrowReturns.com, where you can go and get more information about us, be successful, and be around those that are successful. Because the more money you make, the more people you can help. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed the podcast. And as a friendly reminder, if you're looking to increase your sales, improve your cash flow, and boost your bottom line as a home inspector, go to MikeCrowReturns.com right now.